In this video, we're going to be talking about working with type in Illustrator. Illustrator is actually a very powerful tool for working with type, and there's a lot of great things you can do here. Some are the same things you can do in other programs, but one thing in particular, which is creating outlines, Illustrator has sort of an advantage over the other programs in. So let's start from the beginning. There are three main methods for creating type in Illustrator, and they're all over here underneath this type tool. So when I click and hold on that, I have the type tool, the area type tool, and the type on a path tool. Now there are three underneath here, but those are all just vertical versions of these first three. So where these first three type normal, left to right, these three type top to bottom. Okay, so three different tools: type tool, the area type tool, and the type on a path tool. Keyboard shortcut to the type tool. Let's talk about the ways to create type using the type tool. There are actually two different ways to create type using the type tool. First, I can just click and begin typing. If I start typing this way, I don't have any bounds for my type. I could push return in order to get them. When I'm done, I'm going to go ahead and press escape. This is going to take me back to my selection tool. Now, when I do it that way, you'll notice that if I increase the size of my text box, it actually stretches my type, and that totally distorts the type, which I do not want to do. So if I do just the click and type method, and I then need to do any resizing of this box, I need to hold Shift so that it maintains the proportions when resizing. So that's one method for using the type tool. Now the other method. I'm going to press T to go back to the type tool, and in this method, rather than just clicking, I'm going to click and drag, and I'm creating a text box. Now, when I type, the type is held within a specific boundary, right? I'm going to press escape to go back to my selection tool, and now you'll see when I resize my text box, it doesn't actually resize my text. It just changes the boundary within that the text is within. Now if I make this boundary too small, I get this little plus sign here with it's red square with a plus sign. That tells me there's more text here than is actually showing because I've made the text box too small for the text. Go ahead and make that bigger, and that solves that problem. So that is the type tool. And again, two different ways to do type using the type tool. Next, let's look at the area type tool. I'm going to go ahead and just create a circle, holding down Shift so that I get a perfect circle here. And now I'm going to go to my area type tool, and I'm going to come and I'm going to click right here on my circle. And this turns my circle into a text box. So again, this is now a specific boundary for my text. And if I resize this circle, it doesn't actually resize the text, it just moves it around. It's just resizing the boundary that the text is within. Now understand, you can type within a shape, any shape. It doesn't matter what tool you use to create it. You don't need to use the shape tools. So for example, if I were to take the pen tool and just come here and make some sort of a random shape, and then go back to my area type tool and click in that random shape, now that random shape is my text box. So that is the area type tool. The next tool is the type on a path tool. So in order to work with the type on a path tool, let's start by making a path. I'm going to go to the pencil tool, and I'm just going to draw a little squiggly line like so, and come and click and hold on my type tools to go to the type on a path tool, and I'm going to come and click on that path. And now when I type, it stays on the path. Now, there are a couple of additional controls that I have when working with the type on a path tool. You'll notice if I select this, if you look closely, let me zoom in on it a little more so we can see this better. If you look closely, I have a handle here at the beginning, a handle in the middle, and a handle at the end. Those handles do specific things, so I'm going to go to my selection tool. If I slide this beginning handle, it moves the text forward, right? If I slide this end handle, it does not move the text back, it actually cuts off the text. This is kind of like the end of my text box, saying you have that much room. If I drag this middle one, it moves all the handles, slides them back and forth on the path. And if I pull this middle one down, you see I can flip it to the other side of the path. So if it ends up on the side that I didn't want it on, I can just grab this middle handle and flip it. Okay? Now, that's working on an open line, an open path like this. Understand that the type on a path tool works just as well on a closed path. Let's go back on to my, make a circle here. And I'm going to go back to the type on a path tool, and I'm just going to click on the path of that circle. And now you can type right around the circle. Now, one thing to know when working with a closed path, let's look at this one here. I'm going to zoom in again. You'll notice that I have a handle here just at the end of where I was typing, and then I've got two handles there at the beginning. This handle over here at the end of my sentence is actually the middle handle. The beginning handle is the one just before the A, and the one before that is actually the end handle. So it's running all the way around the circle, and there's the end. So if I wanted to adjust these, I can grab that end one, pull it back a bit. This is the middle one. So everything else acts exactly the same. I just need to know which handle I'm dealing with, and it's a little different when working with a closed shape. So that is the type on a path tool.